Standing here with you, overlooking this land, I know where I belong. Will you marry me?
Oh, yes. Yes, I will.
One of the largest ranches in the territory, lost it protecting others, and walked away with nothing but honor. The men who hunted him had taken everything except his heart. That night, violence erupted near the cabin. Gunshots split the dark. Ethan fought, not for land, not for revenge, but for the woman who had saved him when he had nothing. By dawn, the danger was gone. The truth could no longer stay hidden. Ethan confessed everything, his past, his wealth once lost, his fear of loving again. Clara listened quietly. When he finished, she said something that shattered every wall he'd built. "I didn't heal you for who you were. I healed you for who you are." Weeks later, Ethan returned, not as a fugitive, but as a man reclaiming his life. He had exposed the land baron's crimes, regained his rightful claim, and returned to Red Hollow, not to rule, but to belong. He asked Clara to leave with him. She refused, until he knelt and said, "Then let me build a life where you stand." They married beneath the open sky. The widow's daughter became the heart of a ranch built on kindness, not cruelty. And Ethan Cole, once broken, once hunted, found redemption not through power, but through love freely given. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you that kindness still matters, subscribe to the channel, because the next story may change your heart too. The first winter after Clara became Mrs. Clara Cole arrived harsher than anyone remembered. Snow pressed against the hills like a silent test. And Red Hollow, once loud with suspicion and cruelty, stood quieter, watchful, almost reborn. From the porch of the ranch house, Ethan built beside the old cabin. Clara watched the land breathe under white cover. This place had once been a symbol of fear to her. Now it was proof that broken ground could grow something gentle. Marriage had not softened Ethan into weakness. It had sharpened him into purpose. He rose before dawn, worked until dusk, and treated every hired hand with fairness unheard of in these parts. He paid widows on time, forgave debts, and gave work to men others had turned away. Some called him foolish. Others whispered his name with respect. But Clara knew the truth. Love had not changed who he was. It had finally let him be who he always was. Trouble, however, never disappears completely. It only waits. One evening, a boy rode hard to the ranch, breathless with fear. A group of men, new faces, old intentions, had begun stirring the town. They claimed Ethan's land title was forged, that Clara, a widow's daughter, had bewitched him. Lies spread fast in places that once thrived on cruelty. The same hunger for control that had nearly destroyed Ethan before had returned, wearing different boots. Clara heard the whispers before Ethan did. Women who once smiled now looked away. A merchant refused her credit. Pain settled in her chest, not fear for herself, but fear that Ethan would once again be forced to fight a world that punished goodness. That night, Clara lit a lantern and waited for Ethan to return from the far pasture. When he came in, snow in his hair and exhaustion in his bones, she told him everything. He listened without anger, only resolve. "I won't run again," he said quietly. "And I won't fight the old way either." The next morning, Ethan rode into Red Hollow, not with a gun drawn, but with documents, witnesses, and truth. Men he had once helped stood beside him. Widows spoke. Workers testified. Even the town sheriff, once silent, finally found his voice. The lies collapsed under the weight of truth, and those who thrived on fear faded back into the dust where they belonged. When Ethan returned home that evening, Clara met him halfway down the trail. She didn't speak. She only placed her hand over his heart, the same heart she had healed before. It ever belonged to her. Spring came early that year. Red Hollow changed. A small clinic opened near the creek, run by Clara and her mother, offering healing without payment to those who needed it most. The ranch became a place of refuge. Laughter returned to the land. Children ran where gunmen once stood. Years later, when people asked Ethan Cole how he built everything he had, he never spoke of land or power. He spoke of a woman who knelt beside a wounded stranger and chose kindness over fear. And Clara, when asked how she changed the West, would smile and say, "I didn't change it. I just loved one man enough to let the rest follow." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because the next story might heal something in you too. The dust never settled in the town of Red Hollow.